I got a question from one of your friends somewhere on this planet about this question from a past paper. And this is not my question, so it's important to give credit to Cambridge Examinations for providing us with this beautiful question, which is about some sort of box, and I see some lengths, and we probably have to do some trigonometry here together. Yeah? So this is not my question, it is Cambridge Examinations question. We are just here together to solve them. Okay, what is going on? So first of all, before I even read, I have a look. It's a tank, yeah, some sort of cuboid. I see a diagonal, but it doesn't really go all the way through the body, does it? Yeah, it stops over there, and I see some dimensions. A rod of length 145 centimeters is placed inside the water tank. Yeah, so this is a water tank, and the rod is placed in the tank like that. One end of the rod is at the bottom corner of the tank as shown. The other end of the rod is X centimeters below the top corner of the tank as shown. You can see that's X centimeters below. Calculate the value of X. Okay, now let's have a go together, because calculate the value of X, there will be some sort of trigonometry, but what do I do? Now, I could for instance say that, let me call this one Y, and Y then is the length from the bottom up to here. Then that means that X plus Y is 75. Okay, so if I find the value of Y, then X is going to be 75 minus Y. So I'm going to find the value of Y, that value. And how can I find that? Well, then I got to look for some sort of right angle triangle, and I have a hypotenuse, and if I go that direction, let me sketch that. Yeah, it's always good to make a sketch of that. I can have this triangle with my right angle there. This is Y, that is 145, and what is the length of that one? I don't know. That's that diagonal in its base. Do you see that? But hang on a minute. If I make another sketch of another triangle in the base, yeah, so let's say this is the entire base, and I draw the diagonal, so this line is the same as that line, yeah, and I put some dimensions there, 120 and 55, then I can actually calculate the length of that diagonal here. So I'd like to say again that this diagonal, that's that line, I can calculate the length of it by looking at that triangle in the base. You see that? That triangle, and that is this triangle. With some Pythagoras, where we have said that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And c is the hypotenuse, yeah, so that's that longest side across the 90-degree angle. So in this case, I'm looking for my hypotenuse, 120 squared plus 55 squared equals c squared. So c is the square root, and then you worked it out, and I already done that. That's 17,425. And I'm not yet going to work out how much that is, because I'm probably going to get a lot of decimals. I'm just going to say, because I'm not finished yet, that's 17,425, the square root of that. Okay, because this length is that length, and now to find Y, yeah, I again use Pythagoras theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And now my hypotenuse, so c, is 145. Okay, so 145 squared is, let's say, y squared plus the square root of 17,425 squared. Okay, and what is that square? That again is 17,425 equals 145 squared. You rearrange it, and then you have to take the square root of 3,600 if you do that properly, and that will be 60. So I have found the value of Y, which is 60, which makes sense, because it's got to be less than 75. Do we agree? It needs to be less than 75. 60, I believe that, because it's the biggest part of 75, although it's not drawn to scale. I know I cannot just measure it, but it should be more than half of 75, so 60. So what is X? X is going to be 75, take away 60, and that will be 15. Okay, so 15 centimeters. All right, there we go. 75, take away the 60, so 15 centimeters. Now, hopefully that is clear. We continue because the next question is calculate the angle that the rod makes with the base of the tank. Now I have to make some space for that question. How am I going to do that? I'm not sure. I think I can just take a little bit. No, I can't. Okay. You know what? I'll just do it like this. Look at that. Before I do that, let me just have one more look at the question. Calculate the angle that the rod makes with the base of the tank. So we have looking at this rod and then the angle with the base. Yeah. So I'm talking about that angle there with the base. And then at which triangle should I be looking? At which triangle should I be looking? That is this triangle. That's the triangle I should be looking. That is the rod. Okay, that's the diagonal of the base. So we are trying to find this angle. Okay, so if I now move it up, well, let me move it like this. Okay, there we go. So I'm looking at that triangle. Let me just sketch it again for you. So 145. Y was 60, right? And I'm looking for this angle. Let me call it theta. Okay. So ka toa, yeah, because this is a right angle triangle. So I can use ordinary trigonometry. I think it's a 2-point question anyway, yeah? So don't think too difficult. And I gotta identify my sides. I'm studying my angle, and I know the opposite and the hypotenuse. So the opposite and the hypotenuse. So that is the sine. All right. So the sine of theta equals the opposite over the hypotenuse, 145, and then you have to take the inverse. Yeah, to find the actual angle. So shift sine 60 over 145. Which will be 24.4433 and some more decimals degrees. And you round that to one decimal place for angles. So 24 points, and then you have a proper look. It's a 4. Does it stay a 4 or does it go to a 5? That depends on the next, and that's less than a 5, so it stays a 4, 24.4 degrees. All right. Now you could also have done that perhaps if you would have used this length over there, so I could have done a cosine or perhaps a tangent of theta, but you get the same answer, 24.4 degrees. I hope that was useful. Ask me your question if you have any on explainingmaths.com. Find me on Facebook or Twitter. Yeah, and please like and share with your friends if this was useful. Okay, I wish you a very pleasant day. Bye bye.